Well, salutations, kindred spirits, greetings, welcome back. We made it to another weekly Wednesday magic lesson. Wow, it's been a while, and hey, this one almost didn't happen. I almost threw in the towel. As I filmed this, it's almost 4:30 my time on a Wednesday. I spent the last 2 days trying to film what I thought would be an easy, short form video. Let me show you what 75 takes looks like. That was yesterday on this. I had this idea of doing a one-handed, because if you don't know the news, I'm injured. I had the idea of doing a one-handed ace production followed by a one-handed ace assembly. This was inspired by the Macdonald's Aces, which some of you might have heard the name before, Macdonald's Aces. What you might not know, it was invented by a one-handed magician, Mac Macdonald, who was a magic pitchman. He traveled with Lou Tannen. He sold this trick back in the day on the road one-handed and rumored to have sold it for $100 in the short. I mentioned that. Why don't we do this? Let's take a look at the short I finally got filmed. Take a look at that, and then a little more info. Here's my version of the Macdonald's Aces. Well, I get to wear this thing for a few more days, and that means we're faced with the challenge of doing one-armed magic tricks. And when I think of one-handed card magic, I'm reminded of the legendary magic pitchman Mac Macdonald, one-armed magic pitchman, who was rumored to have sold his 4-ace routine for upwards of $100. Now, I'm not going to charge you $100 to learn this thing. In fact, you can buy it for, $13.98 on Vanishing Ink, because magic depreciates. I digress. For now, your job is just to watch the ace packet, see if you can tell me how I managed to get them from here over to here. And while it might not be pretty, hey, we got it done, and for that I thank you, Mac Macdonald. So that is what would eventually be 2 days of work, about 4 hours of takes. I should make an epic blooper reel of this thing. It's really not a hard sequence, it's just sometimes doing new things is hard. So if this is new to you and you're having a hard time, well, welcome to the club. So the skills you'll need are a Charlier cut. We'll briefly describe this in the video. That will allow you to cut to an ace. We'll be doing that with crimps, and then we'll be using the Macdonald's Aces gaffs. Now, these gaffs are available pretty much in any standard gaff deck, or if you buy a deck of double-faced cards, you get the Macdonald's Aces. You get 2 sets of them in there. That's a good value way to do it. I'll talk more about that in the description, but I just want you to know there's a lot of options for doing this Macdonald's Aces, and if this trick kind of piques your interest and you haven't looked into some of the two-handed handlings, which maybe I'll do that in the future. I've been considering John Rockerbomber's OLRAM Aces, which in my opinion is one of the ultimate versions of the Macdonald's Ace plots. The OLRAM Aces, O-L-R-A-M if you want to look it up. But for now, let's just talk about the sequence I came up with. Again, I wanted to produce the 4 aces with one hand and then do a one-handed ace assembly. And this is how I do it, the Macdonald's Aces. Okay, so here is how I handle the Macdonald's Aces, and these are the Macdonald's Aces gaffs. There are trick cards involved here. These are double facers. This is a standard set of Macdonald's Aces. If you buy a deck of double facers, you'll get 2 sets of these within it. Those are reasonably priced, but you can also find Macdonald's Aces in packages with routines, and it's a very popular trick. Here's how I handle it. And first of all, let me mention this. The mates to these, the 7 of spades, 7 of hearts, and the 4 of spades, you'll want to remove those cards from your deck, the deck that you're using, so that these cards don't show up unexpectedly and make a surprise appearance. So atop of the deck, I have the 4 aces. These are the regular aces. The rest of the deck is in play and mixed. And the uppermost ace, the ace of spades, I've placed a small bend, a concave crimp. A concave crimp atop the uppermost ace. Not uppermost, right above that is this. I think it's convex crimp. I bend the ace of clubs in the opposite direction. And then above that card, I place one indifferent card, just so it's an indifferent card on top of that. Now these 2 red aces, I want these bent back to back, so on the ace of diamonds, I'm going to bend it concave or convex, whichever it is. I bend this one the opposite direction, and these 2 aces are inserted somewhere into the center of the deck, about halfway down. So that's the setup. You got the indifferent card, the gaff, the aces stack. These are bent back to back, and then in the middle of the deck, the aces again crimped back to back. I started this thing with a face up. It's cumbersome, but I'm getting through this. A face up fan to show the deck, and then I close the fan one-handed. I use the TJ Murphy deck flip to turn the deck over one-handed, and then I do a Charlier cut, which is a pretty standard cut. It's a one-handed cut, and if you just go for the middle, what will happen here is you'll cut at that back-to-back separation. Let me show this grip here. It's a straddle grip. Your thumb lets half the deck fall, then your forefinger pushes up on that half. That's the Charlier cut that puts an ace on the top and an ace on the bottom. So now we can do the Hofsons or 2-card toss. I've talked about this move before, but here's the toss. You just apply pressure with your finger below on the double facer at the back and then the thumb on the top. Hold with, not firmly, but just give a little pressure and then jerk to the left. The idea here is you're just going to pull out those 2 aces. So you've cut to the first one and then pull out, and there's the second ace. Now we're going to repeat that. That cut we just did sent the black aces to the center, so we're going to do that Charlier cut again. That'll bring a black ace to the top and the bottom, and again we do that Hofsons or 2-card toss. There is an ace atop the deck. We don't want that to show up, so maybe we move this aside and get it in our hand as quick as possible. Well, here's what's going to happen as a follow-up. You turn that ace face down and then deal the top, what will be the top 3 aces, atop the ace of spades. And then you deal 3 cards, and I try to get them covered up here, atop each of the other aces. If you're doing this one-handed, my discovery was that it makes it much easier to scoop these up with a scooper packet. And then you can do whatever business you like. I do a suspicious move by tapping this packet to give the audience a belief system that I did some crazy sleight of hand to switch the 4 aces over here. But nope, I just use Macdonald's secret, the double facer, and that's how I handle the Macdonald's aces. All right, well, that's a wrap. Now you know what I know about the Macdonald's aces, which is not true, actually. I know a lot of things about the Macdonald's aces. Maybe one day we'll talk more about them, but that day won't be today. We're going to wrap it up now and get to work on our next video. We're way behind schedule, so time to get back to work. I'm going to leave and thank you again for your time, your energy, your attention. Muchos gracias, and I'll see you on the next clip, guys. Ciao for now.